Allow me to introduce myself.
I am the last sane sports fan.
I am a genius by trade.
I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly.
Hello everyone and welcome once again to The View from the Midwest. Happy Friday to everyone out there. Hopefully your weekend precursor is going well so far, and hopefully you have a good weekend as well. But let's get right to it. I want to talk about something that's really kind of irked me today. Read a story about the NHL's Phoenix Coyotes, or Arizona Coyotes, I guess as they're known now. I can't keep up with these things. I think they're the Arizona Coyotes, but I digress. It plays along with this whole thing of that really kind of irritates me about the St. Louis Rams, although it's really on the opposite side. Basically, the situation going on right now with the NHL's Arizona Coyotes is the city of Glendale, the so-called city leaders, are actually trying to back out of a lease that they signed a couple years ago after an extended disagreement with whether or not the team was ever going to stay there or not to begin with. Now all of a sudden they think that they found some sort of legal loophole based on somebody who used to work for the city now working for the team, or the ownership group I should say, and they figured that that's a legal loophole that they can dissolve the lease agreement and come up with one that's more beneficial to the city. Are people insane today? I don't understand where any of these people are coming from, whether it's Stan Kroenke when it comes to owning the Rams, whether it's the city of Glendale when it comes to trying to keep an NHL franchise within your city borders. What is going on? Are people just insane right now? Everybody is so short-sighted right now that it's completely unbelievable. The city of Glendale basically is upset. Quite frankly, they're upset that they think that they got the runaround, that they should have had a better deal in place. Well, you're the ones that signed the deal. You read all the details within it, and then all of a sudden, a couple years later, I mean, were they sitting there looking for these loopholes the entire time? It doesn't make any sense. And instead of just abiding by the rules of the lease and taking what you can get and trying to help the team look for ways to increase revenue, increase non-hockey related events at the arena, increase hockey related events at the arena. According to a story on ESPN.com, the ownership group of the Arizona Coyotes was looking to bring or at least bid on the 2018 Junior World Championships, which, I mean, if it's in America, you know all those Canadians are going to come down. That's a lot of money being brought into your city, into your arena, into your stores, into your restaurants. And now all of a sudden that's gone, because given the fact that there is no technical lease agreement, and even if they do manage to get it upheld, it'll be tied up in the courts forever. They can no longer really bid on that in good faith. It doesn't make any sense. It's a bunch of politicians being butthurt that they think that they got screwed over, and really it doesn't make any sense. You would be behooving your city, your taxpayers, in the long run if they had events in their city. If you're going to piss off the team that is in your city limits right now, they might move back to Phoenix. They might move up to Canada. Now, those kind of options are years down the road, but still, you're upsetting your potential tenant. And you're also proving that you are a small town mentality government, looking for pennies when quarters, dollars, $5 bills, $10 bills, $100 bills are out there, but you're sitting there trying to scrape away the pennies. And cities like this don't understand the kind of money that they are giving up if they are willing to get rid of these teams. The St. Louis Rams are really kind of included in this argument because based on the people that don't want there to be an don't want this to be an NFL city anymore. Here are the numbers for the city of Glendale. The city earned more than $900,000 from parking, $500,000 from rent, $422,000 as part of a naming rights deal, $2.8 million in ticket surcharge fees, $1.5 million in sales tax from the Coyotes, and $522,000 in reimbursed public safety fees. And that's just on when the NHL season is around. If you work with the team and get more off-season events in your venue, those numbers could go up. The same thing holds true if the St. Louis area loses the St. Louis Rams. You're losing parking revenues. The restaurants are losing out on money. They're losing out on potential jobs. They're losing out on sales tax that goes to the city. The city is losing out on parking revenue. St. Louis is one of the worst places in terms of finding parking that you don't have to pay for because they want to nickel and dime every single person that comes into the city. Well, all of a sudden you're going to be losing a big piece of money that's coming out going towards the city government of the city of St. Louis if the St. Louis Rams leave. And again, I just don't understand why these people just don't seem to care about anybody but themselves. The NHL has been a good partner for the city of Glendale. They have been patient. They have sat there and waited and waited and waited for a deal to be worked out. Finally, they think that this saga is over, and then the city turns their back on the league and basically says, no, we feel we got screwed over. We want a better deal. Well, get over it. And on the flip side, the St. Louis Rams, they're owned by Stan Kroenke, and he is one of the biggest pieces of S out there. And I excuse my little rant here, excuse my language if anybody's offended, but that's basically what's going on. This man has no good faith left in his body. I have tried to see both sides of this, and I think that I am very good at doing that in most situations. There's always two sides to a story. Some people say there's always three sides. There's that side, there's this side, there's the truth. That might be one of these situations as well. But Stan Kroenke is really turning out to be a snake in the grass. Instead of working with the city of St. Louis to benefit this team, to make as many revenue streams in the city of St. Louis, he is trying to pick up the quick buck by going to Los Angeles. He's bought a bunch of land out there. Fine, you're in the land business now. You're trying to get a good deal on a stadium out there. That's fine. But you cannot necessarily take this team with you. St. Louis has done a good job of supporting this team, although very few winners have been put on the field. And Stan Kroenke is a big reason why that, because he doesn't give a crap about what goes on the field as long as he's making that almighty dollar. And that's another situation where this is just mind-boggling what is going on with the St. Louis Rams right now. The latest report, and this was reported by people out in LA who have an interest in bringing that team there, but they're trying to, there's a few people out there, very few, but a few trying to still report this fairly. Basically what came out is Stan Kroenke and his crony Kevin Demoff, who I now have lost all respect for as well, are telling the league that they will help any potential stadium plans for San Diego and Oakland if they are allowed to move to Los Angeles. How is St. Louis supposed to feel that they're being treated fairly when their owner is willing to put all of his own money into a stadium out in Los Angeles so he can move the team out there, is willing to help two other sites with their stadiums? Now, I'm sure he's not necessarily going to be putting money in, but he's going to be helping broker deals and whatnot. So he's helping every city that is not St. Louis. How are we supposed to feel that that is being negotiated in good faith when there's a group out there working their tails off, trying to get things done, trying to get a stadium built here in St. Louis? Again, I'm not one of those people that talk gung-ho, yes, stadium or die. I think that the Dome was what they built. That is what we should live with, but I also want to keep a St. Louis team in the NFL. I believe it's good for the city. If you don't have an NFL team, that's what people they still fail to realize. All these politicians and the people who are against building the stadium say, well, I'm not paying a dime for that. And then politicians feed into that. Well, look at this. You're already paying $3 million. That was another report. You're paying $3 million on the stadium that isn't even built yet. First of all, I find it hard to believe that anybody out there has honestly really been affected. I would like to see their paycheck and see where they can specifically point and say, look, this stadium has taken money out of my pocket. Everybody wants to sit there and say, well, taxes, oh my God, taxes. You sit there and say the word taxes and people just flip their lids and lose their minds. And all of a sudden, no, I don't want a stadium, oh my God, taxes. Calm yourself down. Very few people are honestly ever affected by the taxes that these things happen. And if you're foolish enough to believe that the taxes that are raised for a potential stadium are not going to be levied towards something else, the government is going to get theirs. People who are foolish enough to believe otherwise, I've got land to sell you down in Florida, and I'll take your money right now. The government is going to get theirs regardless. Once they realize, well, we're losing a lot of money by not having an NFL team, you don't think that they're going to find ways to get it out of your pocket anyway? I'm tired of people being foolish in these instances. The city of Glendale has their head up their butt. They have a good thing with an NHL team that is reasonably well supported in a non-hockey market, in a place where they haven't had the best of luck. Once they get to the playoffs, that thing is filled. Don't screw it up. The St. Louis area has a good thing with an NFL team that the people really want to support. But Stan Kroenke is doing everything he can to damage that. Don't screw it up. The taxpayers could have a good thing with an NFL team and potentially an MLS team in the city of St. Louis. Don't screw it up. I'm tired of these people being stupid when it comes to simple issues. Yes, they are complex. There's layers upon layers to peel back. But when you boil it down to its core, it's simple dollars and cents. Yes, you have to spend money to make money. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to do that. They hear the word taxes and they flip their lids. Calm down. Look at things with an even head. That goes to everybody out there, not just the taxpayers, because they have the least amount to do with this stuff, but the politicians and the owners. I'm sick and tired of both of them. They both are two sides of a coin that is rusted over and needs to be boiled down and sent back to the U.S. Mint. Let's get these things done. Stop trying to screw over the little people. That is the view from the Midwest. What are your views on this topic? I know that it's a pretty hot button issue, so let's hear from you. Comment, rate, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, comment there as well, and we'll keep these going on for you. But until the next time, I'll see you then.
I remember